Hi Yogi, welcome to this strong Vinyasa yoga practice for flexible hips and the lower body. We are going to be working with Vinyasa style yoga, which is very flowy and just feels so good on the body, but we are going to also incorporate some real active stretches and mobility. Active stretching is where you build strength in the pose, you use your strength in the pose. And when we combine that with passive stretching, where we use gravity or our body weight to bring us into the stretch, those two things combined are where we really make progress in our flexibility. So get yourself set up, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll meet you on the mat. Starting in a child's pose, bring yourself over the knees and take the knees as wide as feels good. Sometimes you can even find a little bit of opening in the hips in your child's pose by taking the knees wider than you normally would. Really sinking your sitting bones back and down, tucking your chin so the neck is long. Take this moment to arrive in your practice today. Feel your body grounding into the mat. And a couple more full breaths here. Set the intention to be present and to listen to your body. Now reach into your fingers, start to rise up through a tabletop position and then drop the hips, coming into a baby upward dog, keeping your thighs and core engaged. Open up the chest, and then as you exhale, sit back onto your heels. Just really warming up the spine and the whole body. Roll forward, find that baby upward dog. Open up the front of the hip flexors and then exhale, move back. Child's pose. Once again, rolling forward, open up your front side of the body. Maybe even lift into full up dog and exhale, send it back to child's pose. This time a little different. Come forward. Now lift your toes. See if you can touch your toes towards each other. Open the chest and send it back. Child's pose again. Round out that spine. Good. This time, now lift up to tabletop position. So shoulders over the wrists. Start to work with Mula Bandha, the root lock. Start to pull your pelvic floor up, your lower belly in. Feel strong through both hands. And then pick up your left knee and start to draw a big circle. So first, a little bit of strength building, active flexibility, stirring that hip joint with the thigh bone. Good. Trying to stabilize through the right leg, the one that's on the mat. Maybe hearing a few little clicks. That's a good thing. We're opening up that tight hip, and then take it back the other way. Keep breathing steadily, even as it feels challenging, really making that nice big range of motion. Don't drop your knee, and now stretch your left leg out to the side. Flex your foot, try to stay balanced through the shoulders. We're going to lower and lift. Lower and lift. You can do it, I know it's tough. These are going to build so much flexibility in your hips. Lift and lower. 2 more. And 1. Good. And then ground that left foot flat. So make sure the outside edge of the foot is flat. I'll turn to see you so you can see me rather. Flatten the foot down. Come high on your fingertips. And start to tuck your tailbone under. Squeeze your glutes. And then as you exhale, keep that squeeze in the glutes. Slide your sitting bones back to your heels. Or your one heel. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, slide it back. So as you continue to stay active through that extended leg and the glute, you're really actively stretching your inner thigh. A couple more times with the breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, move down. And 1 more. Come up and move down. This time, hold the stretch, keep squeezing your glutes under. This is where we're getting that active element to the stretch. Of course, we can just let gravity take us, but we're gonna build a lot more strength and flexibility, mobility in this active variation of this side lunge position. Good, and then turn back towards the top of your mat. Find that tabletop, and we'll send it back into a downward dog. Taking our first vinyasa, inhale, roll forward to high plank or on the knees if you prefer. And shift your shoulders forward slightly, knees or toes on the mat. Bend your elbows for chaturanga, hover off the floor, and then lift into upward dog. Lift the thighs, active through the front of the body, push the floor away. Exhale, find downward dog once again. Full breath in, feel into the backs of the legs. Exhale, bring yourself down now into tabletop. And we'll stir out that right hip now. So starting to draw that big circle. You can come up on your fingertips or onto some blocks if that helps you. Really lead the movement with that knee, making a really big circle. Strengthening and mobilizing your hip joint. And now reverse the circle back the other way. Really see how big you can make that circle with your knee. Move slow so you can feel every section of that movement. Good, and then take that right leg out to the side. So flex the foot, take it out to your side, lower and lift. Using the strength of your glute, lower and lift. Lower, keep going and lift. 2 more. And 1. Woo! And then place your foot down, ground the foot flat. Hands flat in front of you or on fingertips. Inhale, grow long, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and shift your weight back towards that left heel. Toes tucked under if that feels okay for you. Keep grounding the outside edge of that right foot. It's going to want to pop up. Keep grounding it down and move in that range of motion that feels challenging but good to you. Really building that active flexibility, that strength. And on this next one, sink yourself back and then hold that stretch. Keep squeezing the glutes, keep tucking the tailbone under. Good, and then bring it up to center. Come back into your tabletop and find your downward dog. Once again, moving into our flow, roll forward, high plank, or doing this on the knees, lower halfway down, bent elbows, chaturanga, and inhale to upward facing dog, exhale back to downward dog. Now as you inhale, lift your left leg high, stretch into your toes, and let your hip open, bend your left knee. Gaze underneath your left shoulder and then stretch into your left leg again. Keep the hips open. Feel this amazing stretch in the left side body. And as you exhale now, hug the knee underneath you, hover. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, curl it under, round your spine, make space. And lift up, stretch. Exhale, round, curl. 2 more. Exhale, curl. Last one. This time, step the foot forward lightly and coming to a low lunge. Find a stretch in the lunge, lower your hips down. A few breaths here, really opening up that right hip flexor. And then we'll step it forward into a forward fold, but take both feet a little bit wider than you normally would and turn the toes out. Inhale in this forward fold. Exhale, sit back and down into Malasana. Moving with your breath now, actively opening up those hips to make this more active. Don't use your hands. Good, last one. Sit back down into that squat. Plant the hands, step back into your low lunge. Left foot steps back now, so we're on that right leg. Inhale, gaze up, find that stretch. Open up that left hip flexor. And then plant the hands. Step back to plank. We'll take our Vinyasa once again. It said Vinyasa flow. That's what I told you. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Good, now stretch your right leg up. Bend the knee, let your hips open, but stay strong through the shoulders. Gaze under your right shoulder. Lift the right toes once again. Stretch up, feel that stretch. Point the toes, and then turn the hips forward. Exhale now, roll forward, round the back like a cat spine. Draw the knee underneath you. 2 more. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bring it forward. And again, inhale, exhale, forward. This time, step between the hands. Lower your left knee. You might want to put a blanket or flip your mat over like this for this next little bit. You're going to turn your left foot towards the back edge of the mat. So you're kind of pivoting your hips over to this left side and bringing your hands to your hips. So we're in a kind of gate pose, side lunge type of thing. And taking an inhale as you lift the hips in line with that back knee. Exhale, slide forward. So your right knee's going towards the top of the mat, but your hips are facing out to the left side. Opening up that left inner thigh. Inhale, exhale. And a couple more. Good, and now bring your right hand down on the inside of that right foot, stretching up with your left arm. If you need a block here, you can take it or come up on your fingertips, adding in a side bend here. Stretch your left arm long, open up the left side body and keep that lunge into the hips to open up your inner right thigh. Good, now on an exhale, turn back towards the top edge of the mat and coming to a low lunge. Now actively engage your left glute and hamstring to draw the heel towards you. You're going to do a few like this. You can take your hands to your hips, send the leg back, hug it in. I find it really helps to roll forward onto that space just above my kneecap, so I'm not actually on my kneecap here. You're using your active stretching, your active flexibility to draw that heel towards you even closer, and then reach back for that foot. Keep this sense of engagement in your thigh, so you're not just pulling on the leg with no consciousness. Really use strength to bring that foot towards you. Now inhale, let the foot drop back. Exhale, hug it in tighter. Inhale, release. Exhale, hug it in tighter. Last one. Good. And now bring your left hand down, step back to plank, take an inhale and flowing through chaturanga and upward facing dog. Exhale, find downward dog. Good, we've got that other side now. So when you're ready, inhale, left leg lifts. This time just step it through straight away. Bring your right knee down and then taking that angle with your back foot, lift up into your side lunge position. Hands to your hips. Inhale here. Exhale, slide the hips down. Knee comes over those front toes. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, slide forward. Good, and now sink into that side lunge. Bring your left hand down on the inside of the left leg. Find your low side angle. Open up the right side body here. Open up that left thigh. Keep turning the knee forwards. Good, and then lift back up. Take your left elbow to your left knee and turn your hips towards the front once again. Now use your glute strength to pull your right heel towards you and lengthen away. Pull and lengthen. A few more pulsing. And now reach back for that foot. If you can, bring the fingers around the toes. Exhale, pull the toes towards you. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull. And release. And pull. And release. Last one. Good, and now bring the arms down in front of you. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Once again, Vinyasa. Inhale, come forward, lower, and inhale, lift up. Exhale, push back to downward dog. From here, once again, lift your right leg high, bend the knee, turn the hips open to the right side. Now straighten the leg once again, and like you're drawing a big half circle, step the right foot to the outside edge of the mat and turn your foot to a slight angle. As you inhale, come forward in this lizard lunge. Exhale, bend, straighten the knee and flex your toes. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, move back. And a couple more. Good, now this time sit into your lizard lunge and maybe keep yourself up on your hands as you bring the back knee down. Grab some blocks or bring yourself all the way onto your elbows if you're a little bit more open already in the hips. And you can choose here for more of a glute inner thigh stretch. Keep the right knee hugged into your shoulder. If you want to feel it more in the outside of that hip and the piriformis, send your knee out to the side. Slowing the breath down, slowing the heart rate down. Good, and now you can walk up onto your hands. Heel toe your right foot across. And we're coming down into pigeon. To really feel this into your hip, bring your right shin in line with the top edge of the mat as much as you can. You'll really bring the stretch into the hip here. Of course, if that doesn't work for your knee, you can have the heel closer into your body, but really try to have that shin parallel with the top edge of the mat, or close to parallel. Mine isn't actually parallel. So the hips will be lifted here. If you can, and if you can balance, you can lift up and do this without your hands. This is where you're going to find that active flexibility. And then you can even try and push into your right knee and foot like you were going to lift your hips up off the floor. Some people can do that. I struggle with this pose. So if you can do that, well done. Even try lifting your arms up for this more active pigeon stretch. And if you're a real pro, you can start to kick your left heel towards you actively again, like we did in the lunge. And then release your hands and turn yourself towards the long edge of the mat. Pivot your right knee so it's out to the side and stretch your left leg towards the back edge. So we're coming into a half middle split. You can be on your hands or your elbows. And here you can stay on your hands, really breathe deep, or you can come down onto your elbows and do what you need to do to make it comfortable for that right knee. Maybe you grab a cushion or a pillow and you're sliding your weight back and down into the hips. And you can even flex those left toes to the sky, see how that feels. Finding some deep breaths here. Keep bringing your mind back to stillness, back to your breath. Tune into the sensations in your body. Know where your edge is. Know where the difference is between fear and real pain, real moments where we need to pull back. But if it's just a stretch you're feeling, then you can stay. A couple more full breaths. And then slowly bring yourself out and turn back towards the top edge of the mat. Find your way into downward facing dog. From your downward dog, roll forward. Find your plank. Shift the shoulders forward. Bend the elbows. Hover off the mat. And inhale, lift upward dog. Exhale, find downward dog. Full breath in. Sigh the air out. And then inhale, lift your left leg high. Open out that hip. And then step the left foot to the outside edge of the mat, outside your left hand, coming towards that lizard position. Grab your blocks under the hands if that's what you need. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, send the hips back for that long pyramid pose. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, move it back. And again. And last one. Good, and now bring it forward once more. Turn your toes out slightly and come down into your lizard variation, whichever way is feeling okay for you. You can be up on your hands or you can come down onto your elbows. And you can keep this left knee hugged in, or you can let it peel open to the side, rolling onto that outside edge of the left foot. This is more of a hip stretch for me, more of a piriformis, this area around the lower back, on the hip side, on the left side of your hip. And coming back into stillness, close your eyes if that helps you. Breathing through that sensation. A couple more. And then move yourself upwards, heel toe your foot across. Bring that shin as close to parallel to the top edge of the mat as feels okay, whilst being okay on your knee. And come into your lifted half pigeon position. Again, trying that active variation. Maybe you can have your hands on your hips or at heart center, or even up to the sky if you're feeling energetic. Feel as though you're trying to lift away from the ground and then sink lower into the hips. Lift and lower, building that strength. Sometimes we feel so tight in our hips and no stretching seems to make the tightness go. And then when you build a little bit of strength in the hips, that's where you'll really find that relief from the tightness. Another full breath here. Now you can hug your heel towards you and release. Hug towards you and release. Good. And then from here, you can just turn towards the right edge of your mat. I'm gonna go the other way. So now your left leg is turning out to one side. Your right leg is going out into that half middle split position. You can either keep the foot grounded like we did before, or flex the toes to the sky and really come down into the hips, into the inside of the thigh. Do what you need to do to make it okay for this knee. And coming into those deep breaths here. Good, another full breath. And then walk yourself up. You can just bring that extended leg in and come around to a seated position, going for our peak pose, or what we've been working towards, this straddle or middle split. So you might be more flexible than me. You might be able to bring your legs wider into a full middle split. If this is enough for you, coming into that straddle, only bring the feet as wide as you can whilst keeping your sitting bones grounded. So not rounding your back like this, but really taking that distance with the legs that allows you to find length. And we'll take a side bend each way. So reach your arms up, bend to each side. Use your core strength to take you over to one side, up, and then into the middle, and over to the other side. Good, keep those feet flexed. It's a reminder for me as well as you. On this next side bend, reach wherever you can on your leg, maybe the knee, maybe your foot, maybe you can reach all the way over with that left arm, the top arm. I love this stretch. I do this every day, or I try to. It's transformed my straddle flexibility. Going over to the other side now. Good, and then bring it into the middle. You can now start to lengthen up. Take an inhale, and then feel like you're trying to bring your chest towards the floor. Maybe only a few inches, maybe a lot. Maybe you can reach for your ankles or your toes as you bring the body down, moving into, this is called pancake on Instagram. I don't know what it's called in yoga. We call this a pancake stretch. You can try and bring your chin to the mat. Really listen to your body. Bend those knees if you need to. Heel toe the feet a little narrow if you need to. Feel like you're lengthening out the spine and opening up the chest. Find another full breath. And then really easy, gently roll yourself up. And bend your knees using your hands. Take the feet in front of you. Just give your knees that real gentle sway from side to side. And then you can come around onto your back. And just hug your knees into your chest. And then, like you're opening up, bring yourself out into a star shape for Shavasana. Allow yourself even just a minute of stillness. Let your body adjust and absorb to everything that we've done today. Release any tightness or heaviness or stress from the body. Let it all go. Let your weight be heavy into the ground. And allow yourself this moment of stillness. And now I invite you to just gently roll over to one side. Of course, if you want longer in Shavasana, take longer, pause the video. If you're ready to come out, gently make your way into a seated position. And find a tall spine and a deep breath. And now bring your hands to heart center, bow your head. Thank yourself for practicing today. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me. I really hope that you're feeling strong and super flexible in your lower body and that you have the most beautiful day. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment below to tell me what your experience was, what you'd like to see next, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you never miss a video. If you are looking to stay consistent with your practice now in the run up to Christmas, if you're watching this when I post it, I've got a free advent calendar linked down below. You can start it at any time in December. It doesn't need to be from December 1st. So go check that out, and I hope you have the most beautiful day. Bye.